In this video, I'm going to introduce you to my storage solution for Dice Masters. First, I'll demonstrate the basic use of this system using a Team Pack case. The Team Pack case is an 8x4 dice container so that it can hold the max 4 of all 8 dice that come in a Team Pack. In this case, I am using an Iron Man Team Pack. First, I remove the card clip, and then I open up the case, which has a clasp and a hinge. I'm going to pick a die to start with, in this case a War Machine die. I'm going to rotate it so that one side is facing up, one side is facing down, and the other side is facing the long edge. I will then repeat this process for the other 8 dice in the set. This now allows us to see all the dice in the set from the top, from the side, and also from the bottom. I'll now put the rest of the dice into the set. I will then close the case by reattaching the hinges and closing it to the clasp. We can now see at a glance all of the characters in this collection when we look at it from the top, the bottom, or either of the long sides. We now attach the cards to the case using the clip. This will keep the cards in place and with the dice at all times. Alternatively, a rubber band can work if you lose the clip. The travel deck is all you need to take in order to participate in a tournament. It allows you to carry your dice and cards and showcases them for everyone to see. In this case, you'll notice that there are 4 sets of basic action dice. That's because you don't know what 2 colors your opponent may bring to the table, so you need to bring 2 extras just in case. The cards are contained inside of their own separate cassette, and other accessories fit into the bottom. The cards cassette has enough space to hold all 8 characters, 2 basic actions, and 4 basic action color identifiers, and is thick enough for all of those cards to have sleeves, and even have a squirrel with her tokens. The case then stays out of the way during the game, and can be a place to put your cell phone or light counters. At the end of the game, you would put away your dice back into the case, and package up all of your cards and put them back into their cassette as well. Be sure to feature your favorite card face up. As for the dice, they have the same hinge and clasp system as shown earlier. Not only can you transport them, but you can continue to display them in whatever order you want to show them in. As for other accessories, you can gather them up and place them in the bottom storage container of the outer casing, which is large enough to store multiple 20-sided dice. If not storing accessories, you can fit the dice cassette all the way into the outer casing. I always use accessories though, including dice counters and a dice bag. But even when the dice cassette can't fit fully, it can still showcase your dice and lock in place. But before putting the dice cassette in, we put in the card cassette. It keeps any cards from falling out or boxing their corners, and showcases your favorite card in the front. Then finally, as the last step, we slide the card cassette back in, showcasing our favorite dice at the top and viewed from the back or from the front. In this segment, I'm going to introduce you to how I organize my cards. This system of organization allows you to organize them in whatever way you want to. I tend to organize them by bad guys to good guys, and actions in between. Today, though, I'm going to reorganize this into males and females with actions in between. Since I already had these organized, the sorting goes very quickly. I start with the females since they are a smaller deck, and find that I have almost 12 slots, which divides by 6 very easily. So I add the actions to the female deck. I then reorganize them a bit, and then gather them together and attach them to the dice cassettes. I then repeat the process for the males, which also divide very evenly into 6s and go perfectly into the dice cassettes. In this segment, I will be taking dice cassettes that have cards but no dice and adding their first set of dice to them. So here I have a pile of unsorted dice and 2 sets of cards and cassettes that need to be filled. I have a few already sorted, so I'll put those aside and combine those in later in the process. I then spread out all of the different cards on top of their dice cassette and try to keep their icons visible so that I can easily identify where the dice need to go. Then I place the dice onto their matching icons. When I get to max 4, I place them aside as extras, and if I find dice from a different set, I put them into the box to be put into their proper set later. Lastly, I put the dice and cards together into the cassettes. For this set, I am using old prototype cassettes and only half cassettes held together by rubber bands and the cards keeping the dice from falling out. And by this process, I now have initial dice in 2 sets, as well as several extras that I can now trade or give away. In this segment, I will add dice to 2 sets that already have most of their dice already in cassettes. First, I will place the cassettes upside down so that I can see the dice more clearly. I now fill in the gaps in the cassettes above, or dice that are not belonging to this set go back into the box, while dice that have already met their max 4 go into a pile to be given away or sold. Then, after sorting, I open up the cassettes and put in the new dice to complete many of these characters. Now my collections are more complete than before, and I have many more duplicate dice that I can get rid of. Now, adding cards to an existing set follows a similar process to adding the dice. I highly recommend adding dice and cards as 2 separate steps. Here I have my existing cassettes and some new cards. Again, I will place the cassettes upside down so that I can see their icons more easily. Much of my personal collection is made up of old prototypes, where I use half a cassette rubber banded to the cards. The cards provide the top of the cassette and hold the dice in place. Now here I'm noticing that one of my cassettes has 7 different dice in it. So I take one of the dice characters out and I move them to a different cassette. Now I go through the large stack of cards and put the cards next to their appropriate cassette. This has subdivided the problem of hundreds of cards into only 7 stacks that I now need to worry about. Once they are sorted, I will now take one of the cassettes and open it up and use its old cards as a starting point, and stack the new cards on top of them. I will then go through character by character and remove duplicates, keeping just a common, uncommon, and rare of each card. I will then repeat this process for each other character, and then each other cassette. This is also a good opportunity to add sleeves to any valuable cards, such as super rares or promotional cards. When the process is done, the cassettes will hold just the cards needed for play, and there will be a large stack of duplicates left over for giving away or selling. This storage technique allows your collection of dice to be displayed or easily transported. The shelves for a full set will hold 7 cassettes, which is enough for all 40 characters plus the super rares, and has windows on the side to showcase your favorite cards, the whole time showing the icons for every card along the front edge, and allowing easy access to any individual cassette. Without the shelves, the cassettes will take up less space, which can be useful if you want to store these inside of a small suitcase. But the shelves are nice and do stack, as well as match the size of the Team Pack cassette in order for a nice display piece. But with an appropriately sized carry case, you could carry an impressive collection of Dice Masters sets. At 7 cassettes per set, I can easily store 8 sets in the top half of my case, while the bottom half stores more sets as well as smaller things like team packs and my basic action cards. Thanks to the storage system, I can ultimately carry my entire Dice Masters collection with me anywhere I go. For the latest information on how to order a set of these storage containers yourself, follow this link.